Welcome to Sci-Fi Verse. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos, and enjoy the listening. The Galactic Council's facility was a place of cold efficiency, buried deep within the heart of Soldoria. Sterile white walls lined the corridors, and the hum of advanced technology filled the air. In one of the many nondescript rooms, a small figure lay strapped to a table, surrounded by intricate machinery. The boy's name was Alex, and he was only 12 years old. Alex's mind was a whirlpool of pain and confusion. Why are they doing this, he wondered, his thoughts jumbled as the machines probed his mind and body. The council scientists, faceless and emotionless behind their masks, murmured to each other in a language he didn't understand. Alex's cries of pain went unanswered, echoing off the sterile walls. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Earth's leaders gathered in a hastily convened emergency session. A holographic projection flickered to life, revealing the image of the rogue council member, who had sent a desperate transmission. "This is Varian," the alien's voice crackled through the speakers. "The council is conducting inhumane experiments on your people. They have taken a child. Alex, he is being tortured as we speak. You must act swiftly." President Elena Garcia clenched her fists. Known for her unwavering resolve, Garcia had faced many crises, but the thought of a child in such dire circumstances hit her deeply. "We cannot let this stand," she said, her voice firm. "We must save Alex and show the council that humanity will not be oppressed." General Marcus Trent, a grizzled veteran with steely eyes and a reputation for decisive action, stepped forward. "Diplomacy has failed us. It's time to take a stand. We have the capability. Let's bring Alex home and make them pay." The room erupted in agreement. The plan was clear: a rescue mission to retrieve Alex, followed by a strike against the council's homeworld. Earth's finest operatives would be mobilized immediately. Back on Soldoria, Varian moved swiftly through the shadows of the council's complex. He had been a high-ranking member before defecting, driven by a conscience that could no longer bear the council's cruelty. "Hold on, Alex," he whispered to himself. "Help is coming." Captain Sarah Lawson, renowned for her strategic brilliance and unyielding resolve, was selected to lead the rescue mission. As she briefed her team, her voice was steady yet filled with determination. "We're going into the lion's den," she began, her eyes scanning the room. "Our mission is simple: retrieve Alex and bring him home. We will face dangers, but we are humanity's best. We will not fail." Her team, a group of elite soldiers and specialists, nodded in unison. Each knew the stakes and was ready to lay down their life for the mission. As the fleet neared Soldoria, the tension on the Intrepid was palpable. The ship's bridge buzzed with activity as officers prepared for the upcoming operation. General Trent addressed the troops, his voice carrying the weight of the world's hopes and fears. "Remember, we're not just fighting for Alex," he said. "We're fighting for every human who's ever suffered at the hands of the Council. We fight for justice and the future of humanity." The soldiers cheered, a sound that reverberated with determination and unity. As the ships launched into the void of space, the people of Earth watched, their hearts beating as one. The infiltration team, clad in advanced stealth suits, descended to Soldoria's surface under the cover of darkness. The planet's atmosphere was thick and alien, casting an eerie glow over the landscape. They moved swiftly and silently towards the facility's entrance. "Imani, disable the perimeter defenses," Lawson ordered. Imani knelt by the control panel, her fingers dancing over the interface. A former hacker turned security specialist, she had a knack for turning enemies' technology against them. "Give me a moment." "Got it. Perimeter defenses are down." "Move out," Lawson commanded, and the team advanced. They navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the facility, their steps soundless on the metal floors. The air was thick with tension as they encountered their first patrol. Lawson signaled, and Jackson and another operative, Corporal Lee, took out the guards with swift, silent precision. "Area clear," Jackson whispered, proceeding to the next checkpoint. As they progressed deeper into the facility, the team encountered more resistance. The halls echoed with the sounds of brief skirmishes and the hum of alien machinery. Each encounter was a stark reminder of the high stakes. In the heart of the facility, Varian watched the progress of Lawson's team on a hidden monitor. "You're close, Captain," he whispered into his comms. "Alex is just ahead. Be cautious, security is tighter here." Lawson acknowledged with a brief nod, signaling her team to advance. They reached a heavily fortified door, the final barrier between them and Alex. "Imani, this is your show," Lawson said. Imani hacked into the security system, her brow furrowed with concentration. "Almost there. And we're in." The door slid open, revealing Alex strapped to a table, surrounded by alien machinery. His eyes widened with a mix of hope and disbelief as the team rushed in. "Alex, we're here to take you home," Lawson said, her voice gentle yet firm. Alex's voice was weak but determined. "I knew you'd come." As Lawson and Lee freed Alex from his restraints, the facility's alarm blared to life. Red lights flashed, and the sound of approaching guards filled the air. "Time to move," Lawson ordered. "Jackson, cover our rear. Imani, prepare the extraction point." They moved quickly through the facility, engaging in fierce firefights with the guards. Despite the overwhelming odds, the team's training and resolve saw them through. Each step closer to the extraction point felt like an eternity, but they pressed on. Outside, the extraction shuttle hovered, its engines humming with anticipation. Imani established a secure line. "Shuttle, we're en route. Be ready for a hot extraction." "Copy that, Imani." Standing by came the reply from the pilot. As the team burst out of the facility, the shuttle descended, its ramp opening to welcome them. They piled in, breathless but triumphant. "Go, go, go," Lawson shouted. The shuttle lifted off, speeding away from the facility and the chaos they had unleashed. As they soared into the sky, Alex looked at Lawson with gratitude and relief. "Thank you," he whispered. Lawson smiled, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You're safe now, Alex. We're taking you home." Back on Earth, President Garcia and General Trent received the news with a mixture of relief and resolve. The rescue was a success, but their mission was far from over. The evidence of the Council's atrocities demanded a response. "Prepare the fleet," Garcia said, her voice steely. "We're bringing the fight to them." General Trent nodded. It's time the Galactic Council learned the true strength of humanity. As Earth's forces mobilized for the next phase, the world united in a singular purpose. The time for reckoning had come. Captain Lawson stood in the briefing room, the faces of her team illuminated by the holographic map of Soldoria's underground network. The air was thick with anticipation and the gravity of their mission. "All right, team," she began, her voice clear and commanding. "Our primary objective is complete, but now we need to make sure we get off this planet in one piece. Soldoria's defenses will be on high alert after our extraction. We need to stay sharp and move fast." Lieutenant Jackson, his rifle slung over his shoulder, nodded. "Captain, any word from General Trent on our extraction point?" "Last I heard, the main route we took in is crawling with guards now." Lawson tapped the hologram, zooming in on an alternate route. "General Trent has established a new extraction point. We'll head through the northern sector. It's less fortified but still heavily monitored. Imani, you'll need to disable their surveillance systems as we move." Imani adjusted her tech visor, her fingers already itching to get to work. "Consider it done, Captain. I'll keep us off their radar." Alex, sitting quietly at the edge of the room, looked up. "Captain Lawson, what happens after we get out of here? Are we going to make them pay for what they did?" Lawson's expression softened slightly. "Alex, once we're back on Earth, we're going to make sure everyone knows what the Council did to you and others like you. We'll get justice, I promise." The team moved swiftly through the dimly lit corridors, their steps silent on the metal floors. Imani hacked into the security systems, her hands moving with practiced precision. "Surveillance down in the next sector," she whispered. "We have a 5-minute window before they reboot." "Move out," Lawson ordered, leading the way. They navigated through a series of narrow passageways and maintenance tunnels, avoiding patrols and automated defenses. Each step brought them closer to their extraction point, but the tension was palpable. "Captain, we've got movement ahead," Jackson whispered, holding up a hand to halt the team. He peered around the corner, his eyes scanning the corridor. 2 guards, heavily armed. Lawson signaled to Corporal Lee and another operative, Private Ramirez, "Take them out quietly." Lee and Ramirez nodded, slipping into the shadows. Moments later, the muffled sounds of a brief struggle indicated the guards had been neutralized. Clear, Lee whispered, "Let's keep moving." As they approached the northern sector, the corridors began to widen, and the team found themselves in a large, open area filled with industrial machinery and cargo containers. "Stay sharp," Lawson warned. "This is the kind of place where they'd set up an ambush." Imani's visor flashed as she scanned the area. "I'm picking up multiple heat signatures. We've got company." Before they could react, blaster fire erupted from the shadows. The team scattered, taking cover behind the containers. "Return fire," Lawson shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. Jackson and the other operatives fired back, their shots precise and deadly. The firefight was intense, with laser bolts flying in every direction. Alex huddled behind a container, his heart pounding as he watched the soldiers protect him. "Imani, can you disrupt their comms?" Lawson called out, firing at a guard who was trying to flank them. "Already on it," Imani replied, her fingers flying over her portable terminal. "Give me 10 seconds. The guards' communication devices crackled and went silent, causing confusion among their ranks. Taking advantage of the chaos, the team pressed their attack, systematically taking down the remaining guards. "The area secure," Jackson reported, breathing heavily. "Everyone okay?" The team sounded off, confirming their status. Alex emerged from his hiding spot, looking at the fallen guards with a mix of fear and determination. "We need to move," Lawson said, reloading her weapon. "Imani, get us a clear path to the extraction point." Imani nodded, focusing on her terminal. "Working on it. There's a maintenance hatch just ahead that leads directly to the surface. It's our best bet." The team reached the maintenance hatch, and with Imani's help they pried it open. One by one they climbed up, emerging into the cold night air of Soldoria's surface. The extraction shuttle hovered above, its ramp descending to meet them. "Go, go, go," Lawson urged, helping Alex up the ramp. As the last member boarded, the shuttle's engines roared to life, and they lifted off, leaving the chaos of Soldoria behind. The team collapsed into the seats, exhaustion washing over them. "Captain, we did it," Jackson said, a hint of relief in his voice. "We got him out." Lawson looked at Alex, who was leaning against her, his eyes closing in exhaustion. "Yes, we did. But this is just the beginning. We're going to make sure the galaxy knows what the Council has done." Back on Earth, President Garcia and General Trent awaited the shuttle's return, their expressions a mix of anxiety and determination. As the shuttle landed and the ramp lowered, they rushed forward to meet the returning team. "Welcome home," President Garcia said, her voice filled with emotion. "You've done us proud." General Trent clasped Lawson's hand. "You did good, Captain. Now let's show the galaxy what happens when you mess with humanity." As the team debriefed, the evidence gathered from Soldoria was analyzed and prepared for broadcast. The world watched with bated breath as the truth was revealed. Alex, now safe but forever changed, stood alongside Lawson and Trent as the message was broadcast across the galaxy. The Council's atrocities were exposed, and a call to arms was issued. "This is just the beginning," President Garcia said, her voice resolute. "The Galactic Council will answer for their crimes. Humanity will not stand idly by. We will fight for justice, for peace, and for the future of humanity." As the galaxy reacted to the shocking revelations, Earth prepared for the next phase of their mission. The fight had only just begun, and humanity stood ready to defend their own. The Intrepid touched down on Earth with a gentle thud. The hangar was filled with personnel ready to welcome the returning heroes. President Elena Garcia and General Marcus Trent were at the forefront, their faces a mixture of relief and determination. As the ramp lowered, Captain Sarah Lawson stepped out first, followed by her team. Alex, looking pale but resolute, walked beside her. The crowd's cheers reverberated through the hangar, but a heavy silence hung between the leaders. "Welcome back," President Garcia said, embracing Lawson. "You did it, Captain. You brought him home." Lawson nodded, her exhaustion evident. "Thank you, Madam President. But this is just the beginning." General Trent stepped forward, his stern face softening slightly as he looked at Alex. "How are you holding up, son?" Alex looked up at the general, his voice steady despite the trauma he'd endured. "I'm okay, sir. But we need to stop them. They can't do this to anyone else." In a secure briefing room, Alex recounted his ordeal to a panel of Earth's top officials. His voice wavered at times, but his resolve never faltered. "They wanted to see what made us different," Alex explained. They thought they could unlock something powerful in humans. I heard them talking about making us weapons. President Garcia's expression darkened. We need to broadcast this to the galaxy. The Council's crimes cannot go unanswered. General Trent nodded. We have all the evidence we need. It's time to expose them. Within hours, Earth's communication networks were abuzz with Alex's testimony. The broadcast reached every corner of the galaxy, igniting outrage and calls for justice. This is Alex, a victim of the Galactic Council's cruelty. President Garcia's voice resonated through every screen and speaker. The Council has violated every principle they claim to uphold. They have taken our children, tortured them, and tried to turn them into weapons. This ends now. Alex appeared on the screen, his eyes filled with a mix of pain and determination. They took me because they thought they could control us. But they were wrong. Humanity will not be broken. The broadcast ended with a montage of the evidence the team had gathered, showcasing the Council's brutal experiments and the resilience of humanity. The galaxy watched, and the reaction was immediate. In the Council's headquarters on Sildoria, panic ensued. Councillor Varian, the rogue who had aided Alex's rescue, watched the chaos unfold with grim satisfaction. They know, Varian said to his fellow councillors, his voice cold. The galaxy knows what you've done. There's no hiding now. Councillor Vess, one of the most powerful members, slammed his fist on the table. We need to contain this. Mobilize our forces. Crush any rebellion before it starts. But it was too late. Across the galaxy, oppressed races and civilizations began to rise, inspired by Earth's defiance and Alex's courage. Back on Earth, preparations for the assault on Sildoria were underway. The UEDF's warships were being outfitted with the latest weaponry, and soldiers readied themselves for the impending battle. Captain Lawson stood before her team, a holographic map of Sildoria displayed in the air. Our mission is clear, she began. We're going to hit their central command. This won't be easy. We'll face heavy resistance. But we have justice on our side. Lieutenant Jackson, his face steely with determination, stepped forward. Captain, the men and women are ready. We won't let them down. Alex, who had been standing quietly at the back, spoke up. I want to help. I know I'm just a kid, but I can do something. Anything. Lawson knelt down to his level, her eyes softening. Alex, you've already done more than enough. You've shown us all what we're fighting for. Just stay safe. All right. Alex nodded, his resolve unwavering. All right, Captain. But if there's anything I can do, let me know. The day of the launch arrived. Earth's fleet assembled in orbit, a formidable display of humanity's technological and military prowess. General Trent addressed the troops one last time. Today we strike back, he said, his voice booming through the comms. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not be subjugated. We fight for Alex, for our children, and for the future of every free being in this galaxy. The fleet launched, a powerful armada of justice and retribution. As the ships sped towards Sildoria, the soldiers aboard steeled themselves for the battle to come. In the command center of the lead ship, Lawson and her team prepared for the final assault. The tension was palpable, but so was the sense of purpose. Remember, Lawson said, her voice calm but firm. We're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for everyone who's suffered under the Council's tyranny. Let's make this count. The team nodded, their faces set with determination. The time for reckoning had come. As Earth's fleet approached Sildoria, the galaxy watched with bated breath, awaiting the clash that would determine the fate of the universe. The battle for freedom had begun. In the grand halls of Earth's United Nations headquarters, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Representatives from every nation and colony gathered, their faces a mix of resolve and determination. The holographic image of President Elena Garcia stood at the podium, her presence commanding the room. Today we stand at the precipice of a new era, President Garcia began, her voice steady and resolute. The Galactic Council has committed unspeakable acts against our people. They have abducted our children, tortured them, and sought to use them as weapons. But today we fight back. The room erupted in applause and shouts of agreement. The President raised her hand to quiet them, her eyes burning with intensity. We have sent a clear message to the galaxy, she continued. Humanity will not be oppressed. We have mobilized our fleets and prepared our defenses. Now we call upon our allies, those who have also suffered under the Council's tyranny, to join us in this fight. Together we can bring an end to their reign of terror. General Marcus Trent stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of military authority. Our fleets are ready. Our soldiers are prepared. We will strike at the heart of the Council's power on Soldoria. But we cannot do this alone. We need the strength of our allies, the courage of those who have been oppressed, to stand with us. Across the galaxy, the call to arms reverberated. On the desert planet of Tarsus, the war-torn colonies of Beluria, and the frozen moons of Zathura, oppressed peoples rose up, inspired by Earth's defiance. Messages of support poured in from unexpected quarters, alien races long subjugated by the Council, mercenaries with grudges to settle, and even rogue factions within the Council itself. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Captain Sarah Lawson monitored the incoming transmissions, her heart swelling with a mixture of hope and resolve. Captain Lieutenant Jackson said, pointing to the comms display, "We're getting responses from all over the galaxy. They're joining us." Lawson nodded, a fierce pride in her eyes. "We're not alone in this fight, Lieutenant. We have allies." In the war room on Earth, a large holographic map of the galaxy was displayed. Markers indicated the positions of Earth's fleets and the growing number of Allied forces converging on Soldoria. General Trent and President Garcia stood before it, discussing strategy with their advisors. Reports indicate significant reinforcements from Tarsus and Beluria, an advisor said. Zathura's resistance movement has also pledged support. President Garcia nodded. "Good. We need every ship, every soldier. The Council won't go down without a fight." General Trent's eyes narrowed as he studied the map. "We'll coordinate with our allies. Their knowledge of the Council's tactics and weaknesses will be invaluable. We hit them hard and fast, disrupt their command structure, and liberate their strongholds." As Earth's fleets prepared for the assault, the mood was one of grim determination. Soldiers readied their weapons, engineers checked and rechecked the ship systems, and medics prepared for the inevitable casualties. In the hangar bay of the Intrepid, Captain Lawson addressed her team one last time. "This is it," she said, her voice echoing off the metal walls. "We've trained for this. We've fought for this. Remember why we're here. Remember Alex and all those who've suffered. Let's make sure their sacrifice wasn't in vain." Lieutenant Jackson stepped forward, his face set in grim determination. "We're with you, Captain, all the way." On Soldoria, the Council's forces scrambled to prepare for the incoming assault. Councillor Vest barked orders, his face twisted with rage and fear. "We will crush this rebellion," Vest snarled. "Mobilize all available units. We will not let them take Soldoria." But within the ranks of the Council's forces, dissent was brewing. Soldiers and officers who had seen the broadcasts, who had witnessed the Council's atrocities, began to question their loyalty. Whispers of rebellion spread, and the seeds of dissent took root. As Earth's armada and its allies approached Soldoria, the tension was palpable. The fleet, a massive conglomeration of ships from countless worlds, moved as one. The battle for freedom was about to begin. In the command center of the Intrepid, Captain Lawson gave the final orders. "All ships, prepare for engagement. Stick to the plan and watch each other's backs. Today we fight for the future of the galaxy." The ships surged forward, the stars around them a blur as they sped towards their target. The battle for Soldoria and the fate of the galaxy was at hand. The bridge of the Intrepid buzzed with activity as the fleet neared Soldoria. Captain Sarah Lawson stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the looming planet. The anticipation was a palpable force. "All ships, this is Captain Lawson," she said into the comms. "Prepare for descent. Stay in formation and follow the battle plan. Remember, we're here to dismantle the Council's power structure and liberate their oppressed. Let's make this count." Lieutenant Jackson, standing at her side, checked the status of their allied forces. "Captain, our allies are in position. Tarsus's fleet is ready to provide cover fire. Beluria's ground troops are set to deploy once we break through the atmosphere." Lawson nodded, her resolve unwavering. "Good. Signal the attack." On Soldoria, alarms blared throughout the Council's stronghold. Councillor Vest stormed into the command center, his face a mask of fury. "Report." An officer scrambled to provide updates. "Councillor, the enemy fleet is approaching. They've amassed a significant force. Our ground defenses are ready, but we're heavily outnumbered." Vest's eyes burned with rage. "Then we will fight to the last man. Mobilize all available units. We will not let them take Soldoria. As the Intrepid and its fleet descended into Soldoria's atmosphere, the sky lit up with anti-aircraft fire. The ships weaved through the barrage, returning fire with precision. Focus on those turrets, Lawson commanded. We need to clear a path for our ground troops. Imani, seated at the tactical console, worked furiously. Targeting now, Captain. We've got support from Tarsus's fleet. They're taking out the eastern defenses. Explosions rocked the sky as Earth's forces and their allies systematically dismantled the Council's defenses. The ground below was a chaotic landscape of fire and smoke. In the heart of the battlefield, Captain Lawson led her strike team towards the Council's command center. The ground was a war zone, with Earth's soldiers and allied forces engaging in fierce combat with the Council's troops. Move, 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 Lawson shouted, her voice cutting through the din of battle. We need to reach that command center. Lieutenant Jackson and Corporal Lee flanked her, providing cover fire as they advanced. The team fought through waves of enemies, their training and determination driving them forward. Captain, we've got heavy resistance up ahead, Jackson called out. Looks like they're guarding the main entrance. Lawson nodded, assessing the situation. Imani, can you hack their defense systems? We need a distraction. Imani tapped into her portable terminal, her brow furrowed with concentration. Give me a sec. Done. Their turrets are turning on their own troops. The sudden shift in firepower created the opening they needed. The team surged forward, breaching the entrance of the command center. Inside, the halls were a stark contrast to the chaos outside. Sterile and pristine, they echoed with the sound of the team's footsteps. They moved quickly, methodically, clearing each room as they advanced. Keep moving, Lawson urged. We're close. They reached the central command room, where Counselor Vess and his officers were entrenched. Vess sneered as he saw the intruders. You think you can defeat us? This is our world. Lawson leveled her weapon at him. Your reign of terror ends now, Vess. Surrender, and maybe we can avoid more bloodshed. Vess's response was a blaster shot that narrowly missed her head. Never. The room erupted into a firefight. Lawson and her team moved with precision, taking down the Council's guards one by one. The battle was intense, but their resolve never wavered. As the dust settled, Vess lay wounded on the floor, his defiance finally broken. Lawson stood over him, her expression resolute. It's over, Vess. The galaxy will know what you've done. Outside, the tide of battle turned in favor of Earth and its allies. The Council's forces, demoralized and leaderless, began to surrender. The people of Soldoria, inspired by the sight of the Council's fall, joined the fight, rising up against their oppressors. Back on the Intrepid, the mood was one of exhausted triumph. The battle had been won, but the war for justice and freedom was far from over. General Trent's voice came through the comms, filled with pride. You did it, Captain. Soldoria is ours. Lawson took a deep breath, looking at her team. This is just the beginning. We've shown the galaxy what we're capable of. Now we need to rebuild and ensure that no one else suffers like Alex did. In the days that followed, Earth and its allies worked tirelessly to restore order on Soldoria. Humanitarian aid flowed in, and reconstruction efforts began. The Council's leaders were tried for their crimes, and a new era of cooperation and unity dawned. Alex, now a symbol of resilience and hope, watched as the galaxy began to heal. He knew that the road ahead would be long, but he also knew that together, they could build a future where freedom and justice prevailed. And so, with Soldoria liberated and the Council's tyranny ended, humanity and its allies stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fight for freedom had only just begun,